Georgian President Mikhail Saakashvili says he wants to strengthen democracy after the country's fifth presidential election. After the violent dispersal of protesters and the silencing of the opposition media last year, a state of emergency was declared and early presidential elections were called to resolve the crisis. Incumbent President Mikhail Saakashvili was declared the winner after the first turn with more than 53% of the vote. But according to Council of Europe observers, the ballot was marked by significant shortcomings and violations, and the opposition is contesting the result.
Mr. President, welcome to EuroNews. You have just started your new presidential term after the elections, which were qualified by some of the observers as disappointing on their level of organization. What prevented the Georgian government from organizing better elections?
Well, I think the main achievement of this election was that basically every international organization observed it, and we had more than 900 observers, which is a high record number not only for my country but for the whole region. And the elections were proclaimed by basically all of them as free and fair. This is an important thing to know, as the most competitive in Georgia's history and basically the best in Georgia's history. Now, can it be the best worldwide? Of course not, because we still are a young democracy. But the key thing is that the results were fair.
The Georgian opposition, which was quite successful according to the official results, still does not accept you as the legitimate winner of the elections. How do you expect to unify the country in this situation?
I think the country is united enough, and I think maybe there are some radicals saying something, but I think we've had very constructive consultations with opposition leaders. The main thing was that despite all the bad expectations or prognosis that were out there, pre-election period went very smoothly, very calmly, peacefully. The election day was peaceful and smooth, and post-election period was very, very civilized. There were expressions of there were peaceful rallies, expression of discontent, but they didn't escalate into any sort of serious upheavals or anything that was predicted by some.
So should we expect the upcoming parliamentary elections to be as peaceful and smooth?
With a multitude of political parties and political leaders, with taste they've got for election campaigns and for rallies all around the country, that's going to be another kind of extensive moment, although it will not be comparable to presidential elections. Parliamentary election will be voting for somebody rather than against or for one individual person and all his program. There are many different overtones among political parties, and there will be different candidates running. And Georgia is a pluralist democracy, but that only will make our reform stronger if there is more wider pluralist consensus between different political parties.
Do you sense a little change of climate between Tbilisi and the European capitals after recent events in Georgia?
Well, I think there we had these events in November that certainly made lots of people to be more cautious about, there were even some pessimistic prognosis whether Georgia can overcome this, and even more that these elections and the whole election climate and post-election events reassured our friends and basically calmed down the skeptics. This is really the Georgian democracy is alive and kicking. It's developing. It has got to higher level of maturity, and we can only expect improvement in the future rather than another kind of problem.
How do you explain the increasing activity of Russian business in Georgia with the decreasing political activity, decreasing political relations between two countries?
Well, because first of all, we've never made any obstacles to Russian business. Russian business was always welcome, and is welcome, and will always be welcome. And the other issue is that Georgia is a very nice place to operate in. It is a country that has the lowest corruption rate, not only among the CIS countries, but is one of the least corrupt economies in Europe. We really should not allow political tensions to damage this kind of long-standing chemistry between the Russian and Georgian peoples, and this is also a prerequisite for improvement of political relations in the future.
You say you would like to improve the relations between Georgia and Russia. Moscow expects concrete steps. What steps can be done?
We can, of course, cease our boycott of the Russian markets. This is half jokingly, because basically what we have now is a full-blown Russian embargo on Georgian products. And basically we would like to get back to the Russian market. We would like to get back to our traditional destination for our products, for our people to travel, to get back Russian tourists in large numbers. We have some Russian tourists, but we would like to get much more of them. And I think this is where we should start.
One of the major topics on the world agenda today is possible independence of Kosovo. Some of the opponents believe that move can defreeze the frozen conflicts in the world, including the ones in Georgia. Do you regard this as a threat to territorial integrity of Georgia?
Some of those concerns have come from some previous statements by some in Russia that it might create precedent for Georgian territories. However, we were reassured by a recent statement by Foreign Minister Lavrov of Russia, who said that there is no way Russia would recognize Georgian breakaway areas because of Kosovo. And this is a natural but very good, friendly gesture on the part of the Russian authorities. We believe that separatism, and especially this kind of violent separatism which has generated ethnic cleansing and really long-standing problems for individual human beings. In our case, these are hundreds of thousands of innocent people, carries risks and threats for everybody, including the Russian Federation. Nobody is less vulnerable to it.
After your first term as the president, the conflict around separatist areas is not solved. How do you expect to solve it now?
People expect us to get violent, and we always flatly denied that, and we proved that. We didn't mean to use force. We needed to we didn't respond to provocation, and we managed to keep peace. And I think in many ways in South Ossetia the process has progressed immensely, with local separatists, at least part of them, switching sides and getting to the side of peace and to the side of opening towards dialogue. In Abkhazia, it has gotten difficult because of ethnic cleansing situation. But even there, I think it's high time for everybody to reconsider the previous standings and to be more flexible.
Mr. President, you have come here to the Council of Europe bringing a message for the representatives of many peoples of the region. Could you please summarize this message for our multinational audience?
Well, I mean, it's very clear. Georgia is a remarkable success case, and Georgia wants to continue its progress. And we haven't changed. We have lots of successes to report, but we have much more to achieve, and we need the rest of the international community, especially our friends in Europe and Russia, to understand it, to stand by us, and we will stand by them.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you so much.